Oh, yes. Pale blood. Well, you've come to the right place. Yharnam is the home of blood ministration. You need only unravel its mystery. But where's an outsider like yourself to begin? Easy, with a bit of Yharnam blood of your own. But first, you'll need a contract.
Well, hello guys, and welcome back. Um, I'm returning to YouTube finally after being gone for a very, very long time. I decided Bloodborne would be the first video I've made in a while. Just the Souls games are always my favorite series, so I thought I would just return with Bloodborne. Some things that's happened. I've made a career switch. Um, what I used to do, I just didn't have enough time to play. I didn't have a predictable schedule, so it made streaming hard. I didn't have much time to record videos. Now I have a job that's a little bit more predictable, and I can actually devote some time to getting videos up on YouTube, which is going to be the plan here. I'm planning on doing Bloodborne and Scholar the First Sin together. Both of those episodes will go up on the same day. So if you catch Bloodborne, definitely check out Scholar, and then if you've watched my first episode of Scholar, I hope that's what's led you to Bloodborne. Um, Also, I'm planning on doing a cover series of some of my favorite songs. Me and um, one of my friends, we're going to cover some of our favorite 70s and 80s songs and put videos up about that as well. So definitely check that out in the future. I'm not sure when that'll be on. As far as streaming goes, I'm not sure when I'll be able to return to Twitch. Right now, I'm just going to kind of focus on making Let's Plays for YouTube. Hopefully, I can return to Twitch soon, but I just don't know when that'll be. Even though I do have more time, I still don't necessarily have a predictable enough schedule to devote um, time to a streaming schedule. I feel like if I'm going to go back to stream, I'd like my times to be predictable. I'd like to tell you, well, these days of the week I'm going to stream for this long at these times, but I don't have enough time to do that, or an open enough schedule to do that. So hopefully soon I can work something out. I would love to return to Twitch, but for right now, Let's Plays on YouTube is what we're going to focus on. This is post-commentary. This series will probably be post-commentary. I like that a little bit better. I can kind of gather my thoughts, put things in there that I want to talk about, just different things like that. So we will probably do post-commentary for this, and it will be post-commentary for Scholar as well. And this is, Scholar is being played on the PS4 as well. Anything I make will probably be on the PS4. I am going to do a Return to Dark Souls series here soon. That will actually go on to, that'll come off of PS3. I really don't have a PC good enough to game with, so anything I play is probably going to have to be on a console. But I am excited about coming back. I'm excited about starting this Bloodborne run. This is my third or fourth time through the game. I really like it. There's a lot of things I feel, and we'll talk some more after this cutscene.
Good. All signed and sealed. Now, let's begin the transfusion. Oh, don't you worry. Whatever happens, you may think it all a mere bad dream.
Ah, you found yourself a hunter.
That's an amazing introduction. Before we get on to anything else, that introductory cutscene right there is great. I just don't know what else to say about it. I really, really like it. I really, really like this game. There's some things I feel that Bloodborne did very well. There's some things I feel Bloodborne did not do quite as well, and we'll definitely get to those as they come. I'll definitely give my good and bad impressions of the game. Now, on this series, we're going to cover everything in the main game. We're going to do NPC quests. We're going to do all bosses, all optional bosses. We're going to do everything. We are probably not going to do chalice dungeons, though. I may do chalice dungeons on my own just to get blood gems and things like that. But probably not going to do chalice dungeons as far as on camera. I may include killing the Pthumerian Queen possibly in one episode. But I just don't really want to spend any time with them. I actually really don't like the chalice dungeons. I hate how they kind of force you to kind of go into them. If you want more than one blood rock, you have to go to chalice dungeons. The highest gems are in the chalice dungeons. If you want to get the scythe before killing the final boss, which I won't spoil it just in case. I doubt there's anybody that doesn't know yet at this point for as long as it's been out, but just in case. If you want the scythe before New Game Plus, you have to go find it in the Chalice Dungeon. I don't like that. I just don't like it at all. But it's there. Now there are some cool aspects of the Chalice Dungeons. I do like the root dungeons with the random generation. That's kind of cool. But to me, after playing them, the more I play them, the more I don't like them. They just get old. And they're the same thing over and over and over again, and I don't know. So this is probably not going to include Chalice Dungeons, but we'll definitely do everything we can do in the main game. Speaking of the main game, and while you see me fail at a backstab here, I am a big fan of the combat in this game. The fast-paced, I love it. I was a big fan of the combat in Souls, and it still feels like Souls. It's just a more sped up version of it, which I really like. I like being able to the quick step. I like quick steps instead of rolls. I was never good with rolls, and you'll see me fail rolls on Scholar all day long if you also watch that playthrough. But I just love it. They try to get the feeling of a life or death combat. Um, every moment matters, and I think they really succeeded in that. It was They really did. To me, it just feels great. So that's one of the things I really, really, really liked about the game was the overall feel of the combat. The only thing about the overall feel of the combat, though, is not a big fan of the camera angles, which I'm sure that's one of the biggest complaints about most people for this game is the camera angles can definitely hurt. There's definitely some times, boss fights mainly, that locking on is not a good idea. And you'll see me do several bosses where we don't lock on. I don't know. But this episode itself, we're going to try to do hour-long episodes. That's about the length that we're going to try to do here. So this episode, we're going to make it to at least killing the Cleric Beast. Is what we're going to try to do on here. The Cleric Beast is a fun boss fight, and I'll talk more about that when we actually make it to him. Now, you notice me take the Hunter's axe there.
Aha! You must be the new hunter. Welcome to the Hunter's Dream. This will be your home for now. I am... Gammon. Friend to you hunters. You're sure to be in a fine haze about now, but don't think too hard about all of this. Just go out and kill a few beasts. It's for your own good. You know, it's just what hunters do. You'll get used to it. This was once a safe haven for hunters. A workshop where hunters used blood to enhance their weapons and flesh. We don't have as many tools as we once did, but you're welcome to use whatever you find. Even the dog, should it please you. This was once a safe haven for hunters. A workshop where hunters used blood to enhance their weapons and flesh. We don't have as many tools as we once did, but you're welcome, even the dog.
But you notice me take the Hunter axe there. This is actually the first time I've ever used the Hunter's axe. I've taken the Saw Cleaver every single playthrough. I really like that weapon. The boost it gives you against Beast in early game, I feel like, to me, that is the best starting weapon. This will be my first time using the Hunter's axe, and you're going to see some times when I do really, really well with it, and you're going to see some times that I ultimately fail at it. Its moveset, I just wasn't that familiar with. It is a little different than the Saw Cleaver. Range is a little different than the Saw Cleaver, but so this is my first time using this. This guy is going to be a quality build. I'm thinking Ligarius's great sword, something like that. I've already played through strength. My first character was a Kirk Hammer. Second character, Blades of Mercy. So this guy is going to be Ligarius's great sword. I think it's ultimately what I'm going to go for. And let's talk to Yusefka real quick.
Are you out on the hunt? Then I'm very sorry, but I cannot open this door. I am Yusefka. The patients here in my clinic must not be exposed to infection. I know that you hunt for us, for our town, but I'm sorry. please. This is all that I can do. Now, go, and good hunting. Are you still in need? But I have... Please, I can only pray for a fruitful hunt. Are you still... But I have nothing more to...
Alright, so, this episode, we've got a lot of NPC dialogue to get out of the way. We'll talk to her, we'll talk to Gilbert, we'll talk to the old woman, we'll do all that. I was thinking about showing everybody what happens when you send them all to the clinic instead of the chapel. A lot of people's videos send them to the chapel. I think everybody knows what happens when you send them to the chapel, but we may send them to a clinic if it's on the other end of the spectrum. I'll tell you what, you guys leave in the comments on which way you would like to see the quest go, or if you want to mix it up, if you want to go to the chapel, you guys just let me know, and we'll complete them however you guys want to complete them. And we'll talk about lore too. We'll talk about lore a lot. Just that introductory scene gives so much away. I really feel like this game has a more direct storyline, and we'll talk to Gilbert here real quick.
You must be a hunter, and not one from around here either. I'm Gilbert, a fellow outsider. You must have had a fine time of it. Yarnum has a special way of treating guests. Well, I don't think I could stand if I wanted to, but I'm willing to help if there's anything that can be done. This town is cursed. Whatever your reasons might be, you should plan a swift exit. Whatever can be gained from this place, it will do more harm than good. Pale blood, you say? Never heard of it. But if it's blood you're interested in, you should try the Healing Church. The church controls all knowledge on blood ministration and all varieties of blood. Across the valley to the east of Yarnum lies the town of the Healing Church, known as the Cathedral Ward. And deep within Cathedral Ward is the old Grand Cathedral, the birthplace of the Healing Church's special blood, or so they say. Yarnumites don't share much with outsiders. Normally they wouldn't let you near the place, but the hunt is on tonight. This might be your chance. Across the valley to deep... I haven't heard that's your best definitive.
So apparently we're going to go on the search for pale blood, and we'll definitely talk more about pale blood the further we go. Yeah, like I was saying before, I do feel like this game has a more direct story. More notes, just some of the events that happen. I feel like lore notes especially. A lot of the notes basically tell you what's going on. Especially later on after Bergenworth. Some of those just really, hey, here I am, this is what's going on, which is very interesting to me that From decided to use lore notes to do that. I kind of wish that would be done through NPCs or something like that. I was a big fan of Dark Souls NPC quests. It was great. Onion Bro completing his story, I always took Solaire to Gwen. I feel like that game just had so many well-developed quest lines, and Bloodborne, that's one of the things I don't like that much about it, is the NPC quest lines are much shorter. There's much less to do in them. A lot of it's just make sure you talk to the time of night in order to keep progressing their quest, and a lot of them really don't take any action other than the initial conversation and maybe getting them moved to the chapel, or Eileen, you have to fight a couple hunters, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things they could have done better with the NPCs. That is one of the things that I didn't like quite as much. But that's alright. Now this is patch 103. My next video will probably be 104. So there's several changes in those. The patch notes were released here recently. Not too much it's going to affect the main game, but they are adding a few things to killing bosses and challenge dungeons. Again, still putting so much focus on the dungeon. Again, that's something I don't like. Now, I actually did go through my first entire playthrough without playing a single dungeon. I didn't do it until New Game Plus. The character I'm working on the Platinum Trophy on is that. But we'll talk some more about challenge dungeons later if I end up deciding to go through them. I do like how they went back to more Dark Souls level design, where you have the interconnected places, you have multiple ways to get to the same place, you can look out and see where you're going. That's something I really thought they lost a lot in Dark Souls 2. And I know there's places in Majula that you can stand and you can kind of different places, but you still ride an elevator up into a volcano and you're already on the mountain to begin with. So that's just how I feel about that. I mean, there's pretty much every area you can walk to, with the exception of actually getting into the nightmare that you do have to take sort of warp to, which is still okay. I think it fit the lore really well, but I am a big fan of that. I'm also a big fan of setting overall, the fact that this whole time that you are in a dream and interacting with other NPCs that are stuck in the dream, which is a really interesting thing. Some of these NPCs, when their bodies, they're dead in quote-unquote real life, but they exist still in this dream unless you kill them or something like that. That's something I liked about this. The whole setting, it gives you this feel of, I don't know how to describe it really, but it feels really well, especially once you start mixing in talking about the great ones and how they exist, and then the people trying to become great ones. I think all that fits very, very well there. I do like that setting. But the whole game is entirely in a dream. I definitely buy into that 100%. Now, at some point, the dream does turn into a nightmare, or you can say the whole thing is a nightmare, but I don't think at any point in here you're actually in the real world. And I think that the proof that supports that is the intro cutscene before you're given the blood, and then the scene if you decide to allow Gehrman to kill you. And I'll just go ahead and spoil one of the endings. This game's been out long enough, and I'm sure everybody has seen it all. But we'll take on and see dialogue and everything like that. We'll squeeze all the lore we can. But as far as Bloodborne as a whole, I'm definitely a fan of it. I really, really like it. I've played a lot of it. There are a lot of characters here, and we'll talk more about them as we get to them. But blood healing and cathedral ward and blood ministration, it reminds me a lot of the Undead Curse. Until Scholar first Sin, there was no way around the curse. The curse was going to happen. There was no... And you notice me fail that parry right there. You're going to see me fail it about 1,000 times. I am not good with them. I do not do well with them. The whole blend thing. I wasn't great with parries in Dark Souls either. You'll see in my Scholar playthrough. And you'll see me take ridiculous hits. That should have been an easy encounter, and I turned it into something hard. But Blood Heat and Curse of the Undead, I still think they're very, very similar. You're stuck in this dream with this Scourge of the Beast, which is not all that different from the Undead Curse either, I don't think. Maybe not so much from Dark Souls, but the introductory cutscene to Dark Souls 2, where you take the plunge into Drangleic, or a older, younger Drangleic, whatever the case may be. But you travel somewhere, and it's a long shot, but it is possible to think that you don't necessarily travel in space, or rather time, or into another mind state, kind of like this game. So it does remind me a lot of the Undead Curse. They're very, very similar. And I do like that Crumb still stays with that kind of... And you'll just watch me butcher these things. I'm playing very poorly here, but it happens. It definitely happens. Now here, the plan right now is we're going to level up before the Cleric Beast. And in order to do that, you must have a clean insight. So we're going to hunt down a madman's knowledge in order for us to be able to gain some insight there in order to level up. And that'll be what we're trying to do here. Now you're going to notice here in a second, I do not fight these two beasts straight up. I cheese them, and I'll kind of go over that tactic a little bit here. And you'll notice I'm pretty, I guess you would say, I really don't use those blood vials sparingly. I'm definitely going to keep plenty, especially now you're going to be able to keep 600 in your inventory with the new patch instead of 99. I like to stay topped off. You find plenty of blood vials. Blood vials are very cheap, especially in the beginning. They're easy to farm, especially here, and also like farming the Witches of Hemlock area. I really like to use for echoes but I like to stay topped off. You'll see me kind of use them non-conservatively, which is different than any other games. You try to conserve your flasks as much as you can. Now, of course, in Dark Souls 2, you have plenty of other healing options. You didn't necessarily need to conserve Estus. You could buy an infinite for a life from old habit. So, but no, I will definitely use plenty of blood vials. Plenty of them. Now you notice me cheesing me through the door here. They will not come in through the door, or they cannot come through the door. So with the range that's on the axe here, it is easy to sit there and hit them without you being hit. Now you'll notice me take a couple hits, because like I said, I'm not that familiar with the range of this weapon. And ultimately, this is not going to be my final weapon. We're probably going to go for Garius' greatsword. instead. And I do love the weapons in the game. I like the versatility of all of them. I've used all the weapons but the threaded cane. I've never used the threaded cane. I don't plan to use the threaded cane. I was never great with whips in the first place. But I do like the versatility, but I do wish there were more weapons. That's my next complaint about Bloodborne overall is there's really not that many weapons. And then one of them is only in the Chalice dungeons, and another, if you want to do it before doing the Chalice dungeons. Which again, I'm not a big fan of the Chalice dungeons. So the Beast Claws I have just because I was working on the Platinum Trophy. That's the only reason I went down there to get them. And then I've not found the uncanny or lost version of Gehrman's Scythe, which the name of that scythe is escaping me right now. I've not found them yet. I do have a skill build that's on New Game Plus that uses that weapon, and I'm a huge fan of that weapon. That is probably my favorite out of the entire game. But I do wish there were more. I mean, they're all versatile. You have many different options of how to play. But that's something I always loved about Souls. You had so many weapons. Just weapons you could easily drop, weapons you could easily get to. I loved making boss weapons. That was something I really loved to do. That's something I also don't like, which I do also understand why they didn't do it in this game, because it didn't really fit. A lot of the bosses wouldn't have weapons to drop anyway. Especially bosses like the Cleric Beast, and this is the first of many useless and pointless and careless deaths to come. Again, not playing very well at all. And even when I go back for the second attempt at this, I'm not going to play very well at all. But that's something I always liked. I mean, you just had so many options. Okay, you wanted to play with a great sword. Well, you had 10 great swords to pick from. All of them with little differences, little tweaks to the move set, different things like that. That's different kinds of shields, which of course there's no shield in here except for the wooden shield, and that's fine. You don't really need a shield in this game anyway, but that's something I just really felt this game was lacking. I loved having the options of exactly what I was going to pick. And that's something that maybe they'll introduce in the DLC that's coming up, more weapons or something like that, and that would be great. I would love it if they'd introduce something like that. And in case you guys didn't know, yes, there's DLC plans for this game. Some free about it, but we will have some sort of something coming up. And I'm excited. I'm ready for some DLC. I'm sure it's going to be something they've tried to put on disc but didn't have time for, like the other games. I'm still waiting on that Demon Souls DLC to get the missing Archstone of the Giants. I mean, of course, that'll never happen, but that would be fun. And there I am again. I just totally screw this up. I don't know what was off with me. Usually, I can parry these guys. I know their moveset well enough where I usually have no trouble parrying them at all, but you see me just fail here with this one. And I really don't want to lose those echoes. That's a lot of echoes to lose early on. I definitely would have dumped those in the levels. Like I said, we will level up with Cleric Beast. You don't have to. He's very easily beaten before, but I thought, why not? I might as well. Might as well go ahead and level up. We probably won't do any co-op or PvP playthrough other than hunters that are already in the game, and if I happen to get invaded while in some of the forced PvP areas. And that leads me to another topic. Something else I don't like about this game. The way PvP and co-op works, I don't like the ringing the bell system because you have to be very close to the person to ring the bell. Also, the person appears in the world where they left their world, and that's something I don't like either. I like the summon signs more. It lets you know that people were wanting to co-op in the area. Now, you can kind of tell this on this game too by the number of the little zombie things around the lantern. In case you guys didn't know, if you're playing online, the more of those around the lantern there are, the more players are in the area around your level. But that still doesn't mean that you can co-op there. You can walk into an area and have no idea whether somebody's available for co-op or not. That's something I really didn't like. Also cost 1 insight point to summon, and which they've always had something like that. I mean, insight does kind of act as humanity in this game, just for the game mechanics' sake. They're not really related in the other way. I don't know. I don't know. I much preferred summon signs. I just thought that was easier. Of course, summon signs had its downside too. A summon sign would appear in your world, and then you go to summon somebody, and that summon sign would just completely disappear. That happened a lot. So, I don't know. Invading, in most areas you can't even invade unless they so you're basically going into a game if you invade. You might as well set up to be ready to fight multiple. I just don't know how I feel about that either. I don't know. Now, the new patch, though, I'm not sure how I feel about you're able to summon somebody with a password regardless of level.
What a mess
you
you've
can
been
bring
caught
your
up in.
level 100
And
some
tonight of
friend
all
to your
nights,
you starting out.
here to welcome the new hunter.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. That'd be great if you're trying
Prepare
to breeze through those
yourself
chalice
for the
dungeons,
worst.
especially once you get past
There are
Ailing
no
War and
humans
you
left.
get to the defiled chalice
They're
and
all
the chalice of Eve
flesh-hungry
and
beasts
chalices
now,
like that. That'll probably be nice.
still lingering about. What's wrong? A hunter unnerved by a few beasts. No matter. Without fear in our hearts, we're little different from the beasts themselves. What are you still doing? Enough trembling in your boots. A hunter What are you... Enough trembling in your...
And sometimes I'll talk over their dialogue. Sometimes I'll listen to it. I guess it's going to depend what thought process I'm in or what I'm talking about. Aileen's quest is cool. It's very short, but it's cool. Another thing we'll do in this playthrough, which just reminded me of this because of where we're at, we will collect all hunter badges, and we're going to try to get Jorah's hunter badge willingly. We're going to try to not kill him early, although that makes that area so much easier to get up there and go ahead and kill him. There's a way that you can cheese him. It's not really cheesing him, but you can get him knocked off the ledge there, and that makes things so much easier. But we'll take a look at that. We may end up doing that, we may not. We may end up killing Carl and sneaking up on him and here's another thing. I played this room completely. It is much easier to try to kill these guys one time instead of both of them together. And I just really like I said, my plan was not great at all. I hope to make some of this better. Part of it is not being great with his action. Part of it is just, I don't know what part of it was, but it was a mess. I was kind of tired. It was late last night when I recorded the footage for this episode, and I didn't really want to go back and have to re-record it. So that's kind of how this ended up here. And we're not going to do the whole sewers. We're really just going to do enough to where I can get that madman's knowledge there and finish clearing this room. And that's really the most that we're going to do in this episode as far as here. And we'll go on and take on the Cleric Beast. That was the goal for this episode anyway. And I don't know what I was doing here. I just, again, my plan was not good at all. We're gonna make it through successfully, but still. We probably will co-op in my Scholar playthrough, though. I plan to be a Sunbro. And we'll definitely show who I co-op for bosses, but I may do a short, maybe 20 or 30 minute montage of me being summoned by other players. And that'll be fun. Some other things I want to talk about with the new patch notes. We'll be able to buy blood chunks from the Insight shop now, and the Insight shop will be able to have 1 insight. Blood chunks are going to be expensive. I think the note's at 30 insight. I don't think I'm going to pay 30 insight for a bloodstone chunk. Just how easy they are to farm, and how many there are you can get. Yeah, so you'll be able to buy those now, as well as be able to purchase the uncommon and lost weapons from the store. But you have to, of course, you have to find them first, like a lot of the other weapons are speaking of that, that's something else I wanted to talk about. It brings up my transition from New Game to New Game Plus. I do like how the store and the Insight shop does not reset. One reason it does this is because the Chalice dungeons do not reset. But I like how the store doesn't reset. I like once I find those badges, I can continue to purchase weapons, or whatever else I've unlocked. Bolt paper, fire. I love that. I think that's a great thing. You can continue to buy Chalice material once you've found one of them, which is really great. That's something I was a big fan of when deciding to do that. Of course, everything else changes, and you lose all your keys to New Game Plus. But I like that they kept the badges. That's something I was very happy about. And all your workshop tools too, your room tool and all that. That's something else. Those crows. You have to watch out. Those later on, those crows get a little more powerful, and they can really tear it. Sneak up on this guy and try to get a visceral, and I think I fail it. I don't remember if I actually did it or not. But, no, I got this one. I just love the design of the city, this gothic.
Who are you? I don't know your voice, but I know that smell. Are you a hunter? Maybe it's through look for my mum. Daddy never came back from the hunt, and she went to find him, but now she's gone too. I'm all alone and scared.
Sure.
Oh, thank you. My mum wears a red jeweled brooch. It's so big and and beautiful. You won't miss it. Oh, I mustn't forget. If you find my mum, give her this music box. It plays one of Daddy's favourite songs. And when Daddy forgets us, we play it for him so he remembers. Mum's so silly running off without it. My mum wears a red... Oh,
Sure, we'll help you try to locate your mother and father. Everybody knows how this quest goes. But I won't say too much about the ending of it, but we're about to try to make our way to the Cleric, or back to the Lantern here, and death number 2. I completely forgot I died, but had to come back to the I died to these dogs. Something. And then the dog just totally destroyed. So this is careless death number 2. And I'm definitely going to try to keep these deaths. I am going to show all of the deaths, unless I have died several times to a boss. If I've died several times to a boss, I may show 1 or 2 deaths, just depending on how long they are, but I will edit most of those out. Nobody wants to sit here and see me get wrecked by Ebertoss 100,000 times. So we probably won't do that, but that's fine. We're going to try to go back here and quickly recollect those blood echoes. That way we can go up a little bit. We're going to focus on strength a little bit more, but we are going to level up skill and vitality. Endurance will level up later on. I'm not that worried about endurance right now. Endurance in this game is not as... I don't want to say essential. Essential is not the right word. But you don't have to watch it quite so much as you did in the other Souls games. You have a little more leeway with it. Weapons take less to swing, and you so we'll definitely kind of worry about HP. We're going to worry about damage first. That is ultimately what we're going to worry about first. We'll worry about HP after that too. But regardless of what defense is still raised. So even if you keep your damage output, whether that be strength, arcane, blood tinge, while your HP may not rise, you will still be tougher. The enemy's hits will not do quite as much damage to you as they would if you had not leveled up at all. So it's not that much more important to level up HP, except that once you get into later game, some of these enemies are ridiculously powerful. The fight is what I think of most. I hate that fight. That is one of my least favorite boss fights. It's a really cool fight, and it's not ROM itself, it's those stupid spiders. I cannot stand the spiders. They're able to one-shot you in a lot of cases. You're trying to dodge ROM's magic while they are running around trying to do it. It's just not one of my favorite fights. And you'll notice me here trying to cheese the beast again. I just wanted to be careful. I didn't want to lose my echoes here. So I kind of took the safe approach going down to try to get my echoes back. So far I'm liking the Hunter Axe. It's okay. I like the Cleaver better, but the Hunter Axe is okay. We'll probably stop upgrading that axe at +6 maybe. By then I hope to have Ligarius's great sword. We'll just see. It just depends on how soon we decide to go to Canehurst. The area of Canehurst itself is not that bad, but Marta Ligarius, that boss fight, is not one of my better ones. Some of these bosses you're going to notice I just totally excel at, and some of these bosses you're going to notice I just bang my head against the wall, and he's one of those bang my head against the wall. The whole trick to him is you really want to keep him from using his arcane, and we'll talk about that more when we get to Canehurst. And here I meant to use that madman's knowledge before we actually went back to the Hunter's Dream, so we'll have to do a quick save here to wake the doll. But we're gonna go ahead and use all the blood items first. Go ahead and do a save and quit so we can wake the doll up and get her dialogue. She definitely has some interesting dialogue. And by the way, for all of you guys that think Murgo is the moon presence, you are wrong. I'm not just going to openly state you are wrong, but there is a very rare dialogue you get from the doll that tells you, I think, who the moon presence is. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to get it. If not, I'll definitely link a video that gives you that dialogue, but I'm telling you right now, it's not Murgo. Not Murgo at all.
Hello, good hunter. I am a doll, here in this dream to look after you. Honorable hunter, pursue the echoes of blood, and I will channel them into your strength. You will hunt beasts, and I will be here for you to embolden your sickly spirit. Very well. Let the echoes become your strength. Let me stand close. Now shut your eyes.
Her dialogue gets annoying. Chandelot's dialogue got annoying. And the Maiden in Black's dialogue got annoying. That is something I do and I don't like about the games. I kind of prefer Dark Souls' method of self-leveling up. I thought that was just a lot better.
Did you speak
I understand
with Gammon?
why they do it. They do it for lore
He was
purposes,
a hunter
and it does
long,
fit the
long
story,
ago, but now serves only to
very
advise them.
repetitious.
He is obscure, unseen in the dreaming world. Still, he stays here, in this dream. Such is his purpose. Ah, the little ones, inhabitants of the dream. They find hunters like yourself, worship and serve them. Speak words they do not. But still, aren't they sweet? Very well, let me stand. Welcome, what is it you... Ah, speak words.
Alright, so
Farewell,
we'll go
good
ahead and
hunter.
pick the bell up, even
May-
though we're not actually going to use it. We may end up co-oping some. If Rom pisses me off enough, we may end up co-oping some. I like co-op overall. It's not necessarily to make the bosses easier, which it really doesn't make the bosses easier. But I like that. That's something about the Souls series that I've always really liked, is just the ability to have people there with you, and it creates new and different strategies for fighting bosses. A lot of times it ends up, one is keeping the bosses at the attention while the other one is just wailing on them. Or some cases in this game was you both just wail on them and kill them as quick as you can. Sometimes it's really fun just to see, if you get two people in there with you, how quickly you can actually bring a boss down. And we'll do that on, like I said, Scholar. We'll probably do that because I'm going to become a Sunbro as early as possible. But this game will do solo, pretty much all of it. Right there is where you can summon Gascoigne, which is going to help you with the Cleric Beast fight. I've summoned him before just to kind of see what it was like, and it's kind of fun having him in there, but we won't summon him today. We'll just... This is an easy enough fight. It really is. It's the first... this fight is really easy to miss to some new players that I know ended up with Gascoigne as their first boss. But that's fine. There I go again. I missed another one. I forgot about that. But it's a really easy boss fight. But the camera angle, that's what makes this one different. And a lot of the beast bosses, the Bloodborne, Victor Amelia, the camera angles with these guys are just not great. You end up clipping through the boss or some of the side area a lot. And in all towards the fashion, he just jumps down there and something I do love about the bosses on this game, though, is the fact that you can weaken the nuclear hits, which causes them to take more damage or opening up for a visceral attack or something like that. I thought that was great. I'm just going to kind of wail on the axe here. I'm not really worried about damage. It was a fun fight. It was easy for me. I played the beta for this game on the PS4. I also took the skip to fight Father Gas. No longer taking my weapon. That scream gets really annoying after a while. And I love how his name is. I just tell you that the Cleric Beast. I think this kind of ties all that together. That just kind of goes into more what I said about this game's lore. There's a lot more upfront in your face. It's a lot more accessible. But I like how it factors in. I could have got a gift for he's about over this year. But I think it's got to his first video, and I've got footage recorded for a couple more episodes, and we'll try to get commentary to those and up as soon as possible. But the next thing I'm going to put up is my first video for Scholar. I know there's a couple Scholar playthroughs out there, but there's not many. But I do appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.